Hey there, hi there, ho there.
Excuse me? Who you calling a hoe?
Welcome to my channel and to Life and Times Monday. On Tuesday, since none of the footage that I shot on Monday was actually usable. But anyway, as I said a week or two ago, we had a string of some fairly serious issues and videos that I shared. So I'm just on a stretch where I'm doing some more lighthearted stories, and today is one of those. And it's a story that I can only call Tooth and Consequences. So let me start this story by saying this tooth is fake. It's been broken twice and replaced 3 times. Our story begins when I was maybe 7 or 8 years old. My mother was married to her second husband at the time, and as with all of her marriages, she tended to separate, get back together, separate, get back together, before eventually someday breaking up completely. Well, on one of those occasions where they're separated, we spent that first night at one of my mother's friend's house. And she had a son who was about the same age as my brother, about 2 years older, plus another son, I think. So the plan was that my brother and I would have bags on the floor in the boys' room. My sister was in the girls' room and so on. So while the other boys were roughhousing, I was laying on the floor reading a book, as I usually did. Kind of laying on the floor like this, with the book down here, blah, blah, blah. The kid that was my brother's age tripped over me and knocked my face into the floor, like that, right on the tooth. So there's lots of blood and I was freaking out. So we went and looked, and yes, the tooth was broken, about half of the tooth missing. I'm sure I had a Marsha Brady moment. Now I'll never be a teen model. For those of you who don't know the reference, that's an old American TV show from the 1970s, but that doesn't matter. Because of everything going on, it took us a day or two to get to the dentist, and obviously it takes them a while to fix the problem. So for a while there, I was going around school with a big missing tooth in the front, which, can I just say, does nothing for your popularity as a kid. So I guess the first moral of this story is don't lay on the floor when a bunch of boys are roughhousing around you. Fast forward a few years until I was a freshman in high school, living in Northern California, as I've talked about in a previous video. My mother was single at the time, having recently divorced her third husband, and we didn't have a lot of money. So we had just one bicycle that my brother and I had to share. So one night we came back home after being out, I don't know what we'd been doing, maybe church or something, and my brother and I both wanted to ride the bicycle. My mother was tired, exhausted, and she didn't want to deal with the argument. She did the usual thing of, I'm thinking of a number from 1 to 10. Each of you pick a number. Whoever gets close wins and gets to ride the bike. So my brother picked a number, I picked a number, and I won. Super, great. For the record, I am a saint, but I have to admit, just a bit, that I was riding the bicycle like this. Ha 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 ha, and ran face first into a parked car, breaking the tooth the second time. Again, more blood, more drama, and my mother took me into the house, and I can remember my brother on the bicycle now, kind of looking at me and laughing, ha ha ha, I get to ride the bicycle after all. So that was the second time it got broken. And I guess the moral of this part of the story is, don't gloat. Or if you're going to gloat, at least make sure you're looking forward. Now, the tooth they put on then was supposed to be temporary and was supposed to be replaced when I was 16, but for various reasons that never happened. And that tooth lasted all the way until the late 90s. I'd say probably 97 or 98. By this time, that tooth was discolored and it looked like I had a piece of corn stuck on my tooth. So it had to go. My friend and roommate in Chicago at the time had another friend who was a dental student, which was the subject of much teasing. His nickname was Dr. Drill, and my roommate took some delight in showing him old clips such as the song I'm a Dentist from Little Shop of Horrors by Steve Martin, or the elf who wants to be a dentist in the old Rankin and Bass Christmas special, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, to whom Dr. Drill coincidentally bore some resemblance. So I worked with him to get this tooth replaced. I had, to be honest, something of a crush on Dr. Drill. And no, I don't think it was that he looked like the elf from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. What can I say? He was an attractive guy, a little taller than me, blonde hair that kind of swept over his forehead, blue eyes. He just checked a lot of boxes. That's all I'm saying. It was occasionally awkward to be that close and intimate with somebody to whom you're attracted who has no interest in you that way. But we got through it. I remember the first time I saw my mouth after that temporary tooth was finally removed, and there was just this tiny little peg left of the original tooth, just a little piece that held everything else together. Dr. Drill did a great job, and that tooth has now lasted for 20 years. So the moral of this part of the story is, well, to be honest, I guess there is no moral of this part of the story. But I hope you enjoyed this story today anyway, and that you got at least a chuckle or two out of it. If so, might I humbly suggest that you like, comment, and share the video, and subscribe to my channel for more just like it. So that's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow with my normal musings and random stuff video, and this week, since I've lived in the UK for over 5 years, I thought I would share my 5 least favorite things about living here. But, as always, may I remind you to be good. And if you can't be good, be wicked well.